topic for this week, team, is your origin story. So what is it why did you go into business? Why did you start the Illegal Group? Yalila, why is it that you want to now get into inclusion and diversity? And I think your origin story is a really powerful thing to unpack for people, because when you unpack your origin story, you talk about your experience and then how you evaluate that experience. Then you can explain it in such a way that other people will get a learning from. And your origin story sort of frames up, I guess, a lot of your content, and it should really be the basis to a degree for what it is you do. And I think it's okay to have more than one origin story. So I've got the burns, I've got poor leaders, and then I've got getting blown up at CS Energy and good leadership. So depending on what forum I'm talking in, I'll use a different origin story. So if I'm talking about safety, obviously it's the burns. If I'm talking about leadership, it's either crappy leaders or it's great leaders. And your origin story is something that you want to have it about 3 or 10 minutes long, and you want to make it part of a lot of your business conversations, and you want to have it as part of your content. People should know what your origin story is, because there'll be other people out there that are struggling with the same stuff that you struggled through in your origin story. So if you would like to, it was Yalila's little mission from her coach this week to go and get that done. Did you have a crack at it, Yalila? Did you get time?
Yeah, I did, Anton. I absolutely did. I've done my homework. I'm executing.
Good work. Over to you. Talk us through it. You've got the next 3 to 10 minutes. What would you need?
Oh, really?
Yes.
I was going to say it like this. Sorry.
No.
Anton.
Pretend we're not here.
That's right. Just pretend we're not here. Just pretend Graham and Ali aren't there.
Oh, it's typed up, so I'm just going to say what I've typed up.
Great.
Do you want me to start with I'm Yalila Torrens, director, blah?
Oh, if you want to, what feels most comfortable for you?
I'll just do my origin story. So I founded this firm on the back of a lengthy history of work experiences where I've never found my fit in the modern Australian workplace. So as a female millennial, my experiences in a modern day workplace weren't always psychologically safe for me. They felt very limiting, and I felt that my whole self was never embraced and valued.
Right.
More than that, though, many of my workspaces weren't reflective of a modern Australian day society that I know exists, which I believe limits a lot of our capacities to think critically, differently, and diversely.
Whoa.
I don't know if that's too academic. I haven't really put it,
That's all right. Just depends on the audience. What do you reckon, Graham and Ali? Did that resonate?
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell you're saying it with a bit of passion there too. Yeah. You could probably, I don't want to step in there, but elaborate a little bit more, I guess. I was just starting to get into it there and a bit more background there, because it was certainly interesting.
And even the first part, I want to know your background. If it's not the normal Australian workplace, where is your background? Where do you come from? Is your culture, heritage? Where's it all leading from?
Right, okay. I think probably what I need to get clear on is my own story.
Because how much you're willing to share.
In my mind, I know in my work experience, there are many, many times when I thought, well, I can't be that kind of person in this workplace, or I can't speak about that part of my life in this workplace because it just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with my travel and experiencing life way outside of regional Queensland, where it's very different, and you're amongst very different thinkers and people from different demographics, and then you come to Central Queensland, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm a minority in many of the workplaces. So I think they're really good points. I probably need to get clear on my own personal story and go, well, if I'm aligning it to inclusion and diversity, people are going to be a bit more convinced that I can say, hey, when I worked at a non-for-profit organisation, or I was at a medical service, and I've always felt I just didn't fit in, or
And what were you going to? I was going to say, and talk about where you were. You said you travelled. So, is it overseas? Is it always in Australia? Is it just regional? Where is your background? Where have you come from?
A lot of overseas travel, and it really obviously makes you think very differently about the world.
100%.
And what that can add to a workplace is
massive.
So underutilized, I think, and not embraced in our communities.
Yep. Spot on. I think that certainly needs to be included in yours for sure, because the travel and getting out of the region, I think, is so important. And I would have said for myself, I'm born and bred Rockhampton, and I left when I was 19 kind of thing, and experienced a lot, and then came back and learned a lot. But I could tell there was a lot missing when I got back to the region, which these people haven't left and they haven't experienced a lot. And it's like,
Graham, same as Gladstone though. We hear it a lot. If you're privileged enough to travel, you realise those things when you come back. So I could probably say that too.
Yeah.
I think personalising a bit more, being a single mom, coming into a workplace, I'm minority. Same thing, grew up in Gladstone, travelled a lot, come back, had my daughter, and I thought, we're so far behind.
And that's it. So that's the part that I was waiting to find out. So you grew up in Gladstone, then you went and travelled, and then you had your daughter and you came back. So that piece, that little part of the beginning piece for me together.
And it's, you lose a lot of value and assets in your community if that's not embraced. If people in workplaces don't embrace that, people just leave. Or people like me, we go into our own businesses because we think far and wide. I'm thinking far and wide and big. And a lot of your workplaces just don't have the capacity to do that, or they're scared of innovation, or you're different thinkers, or
we've always done it this way.
Push boundaries.
And sometimes they're intimidated by big thinkers too.
100%. So I'll start there. Not born and bred, but grew up in Gladstone all my life, went to schools here, know the community well, come back when I had my daughter, which I did, and I've stayed here ever since. Because I know this is a good community for raising families. What I've found is that in my work experience, working for multiple organisations as a social worker, what can I say? Sorry, I'm just looking at, I always felt maybe limited. So I'm going to have to get some mastery around that.
And it's okay to use big words too, Yalila. I felt excluded, or I didn't feel included.
I didn't fit. My mind didn't fit, or my thinking wasn't fitting in with many of the workplaces, because I had experienced a lot of travel, or I was fortunate enough to travel across the world, and we still do. Me and my daughter, we go overseas a lot. And when I come back to Gladstone, I feel as though we're not embracing, or I need to get the language right.
Clear on that language. And then finish it off, Yalila, with a big learning. So my learning was that as organisations, we don't include diverse thinking and diverse mindset.
We're very scared of it. Yeah.
Because it challenges us, because we think, well, hold on a second, this person's maybe they're a bigger thinker than us, or whatever reason that we're challenged for. Okay. And here's the thing, this is you speaking now, and here's the thing, we don't want other people to feel worried about speaking up or challenged because other people speak up. We want to include that. And you might even say there's some science around the quality of diverse decision making and how in diversity blah. And what I want for you as a leader is, these are the 3 skills that as a leader you can now implement in your business to make sure that everyone feels included. The first one is blah, blah, blah. Number 2 is blah, blah, blah. Number 3 is blah, blah, blah. And I just wish that I had leaders that did those 3 things, because if I did, well, actually I don't wish I had leaders, because I'd probably still be working for them.
100%. Well, and that's just the catch-22 here. I see it a lot. Like big thinkers, we become entrepreneurs.
That's it. So does that
Great.
help?
Thank you. That actually helps a lot. I never thought, and this is the thing. It's probably the conditioning where I haven't been able to talk about my upbringing and stuff in front of people, because I've just, in Gladstone, people just do the job.
But see, your upbringing and your past probably helps you do the job that you do so well.
100%. It makes me very relatable to my community.
Yes.
Beautiful. Yalila, was that useful?
Extremely. Very. Thanks, Ali and Graham. That's very helpful.
Awesome.
There's so much content that could come out of that, Yalila.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's so much more of a story there.
We look forward to seeing more of it when you're up in front of everyone, Yalila.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Christ, stop. See? We're looking at the anxiety, the fear and the anxiety are the same thing. No, the anxiety and the excitement are the same thing. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that.
Are you coming to Ali's ladies' luncheon in a few months?
Can you send me an invite, Ali?
Absolutely.
That would be really good. I would really like to come. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love it. Alison and Graham, talk us through it, team. Are you going to go one at a time, or are you going to tag team on an origin story?
I think you probably go one at a time and then join in when needed.
Very different.
Same but different, I guess.
Yeah.
And as I said before, I'm born and bred Rocky boy, and I left when I was 19 to pursue professional sport. And I did a lot of travel for nearly 15 years, I suppose, and found myself back in, Yeppoon, I guess, Rocky, and same as you, I came back here and it was like, well, nothing's really changed. And I guess I was very fortunate when I played professional golf, and I had some awesome mentors which I met on the way who were sports people but also business people. And to this day I still speak with them, and a couple of those are in the top 100 richest in Australia kind of thing. And that kind of people up this way, you can't find those people. So I get a bit off track there, I suppose. I saw a bit of a niche market, I suppose, that needed in the region. And so I opened a few little businesses myself when I came up here, more retail and the golf side of things. And then I dabbled a bit in real estate, and that wasn't a thing for me. I lasted 3 months in real estate, but I met my lovely wife 3 months.
One good thing came out of it.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason, hey.
That's right.
I sort of started working for a civil company at the time. After all that, just wasn't a work for me. I was sick of the retail. I was sick of dealing with committees and that kind of stuff in golf courses. And so I went and started working for a big civil company in town, and I'd never worked in civil before, and I just thought, I'll have a go at that. Yeah. And I realised then how much I just love growing businesses and learning, and took that business then, went from 80 employees, and within 2.5 years we had 220, and the business was just going berserk. But I still knew that wasn't for me. I loved it and I enjoyed it.
Wow.
And then I had the opportunity to join economic development team with Rockhampton Regional Council, and I went there as economic development manager. And I loved that. That was awesome. Wow. And that's when I found a passion for growing businesses and growing local businesses and bringing big projects to the region and that kind of thing. So I was closely involved with Adani, which some people love, some people hate.
I love it.
But
go Adani.
More job.
Yeah, 100%. So I worked really closely with Lucas Dale back then, and obviously Margaret Strelo was the mayor at the time. So it was a really good learning time for me. And I guess that's where I got my passion, as I said, for economic development and really growing local businesses. And so I left there, and because in government, you can struggle with what you can do, can and can't do. I was on a good wicket. I could have stayed there forever and retired, but
wow.
I wanted to do other things. I was getting bored. So I was like, right, let's go. And then we started a league group then, and we didn't know what we were going to do with it, but went to a couple of different businesses. And
that's where the Breakfast of Champions grew.
Well, that's where Breakfast of Champions came from. I started that when I was manager of economic development, and I had sort of 12 to 15 people that were sort of meeting every month kind of thing. And then once I left council, they stopped doing it. And everyone reached out, can you keep on doing it? And I was like, yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
And so now we cap out, typically a normal one of ours at 50 people. We sort of cap it at that now, which is great. But I guess where do we go from there?
Well, it was only when women started asking if they could come that he said to me, you have to start coming to these things because I've got ladies coming now. And I was like, I thought it was a boys' club.
Oh, did you really? Now, now this is going to be a really interesting origin story.
I thought it was just the boys get together for lunch, and it was just talk about work and rubbish and breakfast, sorry. And then you get together. So I started coming along, and I was in absolute awe of seeing my husband up there talking and just connecting people in the room, and he just knew everyone's names and faces, and he could connect people with other people who needed each other in business, and it was really amazing. And I think back then I was going through a massive, I didn't know who I was, and recently I've worked with a coach myself and found my feet, and it wasn't until probably 6 months ago, maybe 12 months ago, I've started working on it, that I realised that I had the passion. I had an alter ego inside me. I really, really wanted to be this person who came out and did public speaking, but the fear of public speaking would make me just want to vomit. No. So I wouldn't do it. And so but I actually noticed Graham getting more and more shaky up the front. He lost his love and passion for being up the front and running, I don't know, not talking as much. And then he'd say, I was a bit shaky on that one. On that one. And so I saw that and was like, if he's going to let the Breakfast of Champions go, I need to step in and find my feet. And because we don't monetize it. We don't make money off it.
That's right. We're going to work out how you can. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow.
Exactly. It's just something that we do. And I was like, I want to be able to stand up there with him. And then when the days that he can't give 100%, I can jump in. So that's when I started jumping up the front. And then from there, I grew the ladies' lunch as well, because there was a lot of interest from women who just wanted to connect as well. And
she's got the taste.
Networking's not networking anymore, and it's just so superficial. And I hate when you go into a networking event, you don't feel like you fit in the room for so many reasons, and you're just there to get your photo and put it on LinkedIn and walk out, and it just wasn't really the vibe I was going for. And I wanted real stories from people about how to get to the top. How do we get to where we're going in life, and how do we grow? Because I don't want to stay small. I want to grow big, but I don't want you to tell me that it's all amazing and it's just so easy to get there and life is beautiful and oh my God, I'm so rich and I drive this and I live here and I do this. I want to know, how did you get there? What's the struggles? How do we do it? Give me
how do we all work together too?
Exactly.
And that was a big thing behind the initiation of Breakfast of Champions. Yeah. Let's get your business would complement this business here, and let's all get together. And it really came from the Adani days when we needed to find rocky businesses.
That's right.
That could blow them on.
And people are too scared to go out there and talk to each other. And it's like, oh, well, Shep knows this person and Shep knows that person and Ali knows that person. So can you just hook us up? And it's like, oh, that's so easy. It's an introduction. But then out of that introduction, so many big things have happened. So it's just amazing. We actually don't really know what a legal group is going to do. We don't have a real plan for it.
We're going to monetize it somehow. There is zero chance that you can't. You should be monetizing it. Yeah. You will talk about this, so you need heaps of content. It's nearly like a podcast series with every single business that turns up. Then it's Ali, I see you as the business coach doing this work for all your Allegra group eventually. We'll talk tomorrow. Leela, what did you hear in that? Did you enjoy that origin story?
Yeah. Absolutely. There's so much substance there that obviously I was comparing in the back of my head. I was like, oh, goodness.
That wasn't practice at all. Yeah.
That was really organic. And I just love actually how you were able to speak about how you guys cultivated your relationship and then how you work, you're woven together your skills and that your passion has ignited Ali's passion. You know what I mean? So it's this beautiful, nice feeling. It's really warm and it's like, oh my gosh. And you can sense that really genuineness in what you guys want to achieve. And it's like, oh my gosh, I can feel that. And we do. We want real stories. I want to know how to get to the top. Tell me everything. And be that messy, vulnerable, like you said, Ali.
Messy.
I'm not fitting in because people aren't telling us the truth.
Exactly.
You lost all that money and how you come back from it. I want to know that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I think with social media these days, it's a highlight reel. We can all go on Facebook and tell everyone how amazing our life is, but there's a struggle to get there. Yeah, it's so. And don't dress it up. Don't dress this thing up because we're
terrible for that.
It's a false narrative to our kids too. That it's not. This is not a fairy tale.
We probably tell too much of the truth sometimes about it.
We do. We're way too open and
this is who we are. You either like it or you don't.
Team, great session. We're 7 minutes on the clock. Can I jump in and can I just give you a quick? This is a really short one. Graham, what I loved about where you went, you sort of gave us the professional goal stuff, and then Ali bounced off that, which I think that Leela said that there's so much love in that. I just really love the way that came together. As you craft your origin story, you'll define it a little bit more. So when you get comfortable with it, Graham, you'll start it like this. I was working in real estate, and then I looked over on the other side of the road. Who's seen the movie Good Will Hunting, where he said, I've got to go and see a man about a girl? I didn't go to the game. Walked straight over, and there she was. And she's sitting beside me now. Now that's where it all started. That's where your origin story could start. Oh, by the way, before that, I was playing a bit of professional golf. I played that down, but I travelled around just a little bit, and I remember playing with Greg Norman. That was nice. But you know what? I always got to come home to a lady called Alison Shepherd. And that was where it was for me. And so you bring that, and then Ali comes in and says, I looked at Graham and I saw the love in his eyes and all that sort of stuff. So you sort of tighten it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be a life story. So I start my origin story with, I was at CS Energy one day doing some consulting, and I was in a workshop doing disc profiling of all things. So by the way, reach out. Do you want to do your disc? I'll do that with you as well. You buy my stuff. And all of a sudden, I was sitting in the operations manager's office when we heard this massive boom. The whole place went boom. It sounded like a massive boulder dropping on a lump of concrete, that dull thud. And I said to the ops manager, was that uncool? And he said, a little bit uncool. And then he said, it should be okay. So we sat back down and kept working, talking about our disc profiles and our personality. And then all of a sudden we got another boom, and the floor shook, the building shook, the whole joint was exploding. CS Energy was literally exploding. All I remember was the operations manager heading towards where it was exploding. And I went, go you, good luck, while I'm going the other way. He said, get off site. And I went down with 200 or 300 other humans down to the emergency evacuation point, and we stood there watching the building blow up. The roof blow off the CS Energy building. And it was just boom, boom, boom. We didn't know whether there was people in there. CS Energy and Billawheeler is a small town. There was people's brothers and sisters and husbands and wives out in the emergency evacuation of people that worked in that part of the plant. And what I saw that day was leaders come down, rally the teams. There was no power on site. When you blow up a power station, not only do you lose power on site, you lose power to the whole of Queensland, which is what happened. But I watched the leaders care for everyone. We were all freaked out, but they took charge, they took control, and they took calm in the situation. They did a whole lot of, they pen and paper, every name. Leaders, have you got all your team members here? It wasn't long before we worked out that no one had been seriously hurt or killed. They got us off-site, further away from site, as they started talking about the risk of hydrogen blowing up, which would have flattened kilometres of area. And again, the leaders stepped in, and what I saw that day was leadership under pressure. And I've been on a mission ever since then to understand what it is that leaders do to keep themselves calm in those situations. Mm-hmm. And I've since studied leaders and done a research project with CQU. And what we know is that leaders who breathe, pause and refocus, they slow down, even under critical situations. They're very clear on their decision making, and they task other people with doing things that are value add to help them, because it's not a one-person job. Leaders out there, if you need help leading under pressure, come and see us, buy our stuff, come to a 2-day program. We'll talk to you all about leadership under pressure. That's where it all started for me. So that's just another way to tell an origin story. It's really around the experience and some emotion. And then this is what I learned, and this is what I saw, and this is why I do what I do. And come and see us if you want to learn more about that. So I don't know if that helps, but that's another sort of story at the end of it.
Excellent.
With 2 minutes on the clock, team, Yalila, best bit from today, takeaway, sharing, thought?
The best bit for me is to not fear my origin story. I don't have to start at my workplace. I can start right back at, grew up in Gladstone, travelled, had my daughter when I come back, been here ever since, and blah.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Ali and Graham, for making me feel comfortable that I can share that stuff. Thanks. And Andy.
Graham, best bit?
Well, certainly hearing more about Yalila, and I definitely look forward to hearing more as well. It's always nice to hear what other people do. Everyone can learn something off anyone, so thank you.
Thank you.
And Ali?
I think realising that there's more people out there that don't want the fluff, and that our backstories can come from so many different places, and that's what shapes and creates us as we are today. So we need to share more of that.
My best bit is all of you. Massive gratitude. Thank you for coming on. We'll grow this group as we grow, and we'll hear other people's origin stories. So
awesome.
And I'm talking to the Amazing Shepherd team tomorrow at about 4 p.m. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And we're going to talk about how we can monetize Allegra.
That's great.
Thank
you very much.
Bye.